talking about different cybersecurity things in the news. I've tried to separate it all out by topics. Like, was it threats of vulnerabilities, of data breaches, election security, Internet of Things, cyber-espionage? Oh, and in there somewhere I did the whole thing on Kaspersky, because that's... Oh, but I just got another news article on that. Did you guys hear about that?
No. What was that?
Well, they said they were going to release their source code, and then the last thing that Kaspersky said was, yes, we had the data in our network, and as soon as we found out about it, we deleted it. I'm like, okay, so showing us your source code's useless because you just admitted that you can exfiltrate data with your product. So
Oops.
Why do I care whether or not you're I don't know. It's another one of those shit show type of things. I look at what happened throughout. Go ahead.
The question then becomes is how many other of the Eastern Bloc antivirus companies are doing the same thing but just haven't been caught?
Well, how many of them are there? Like, I don't know how many there is, but I mean, there's like at least 7 or something like that, I think.
Right. I think 7 of the top 10 anti-malware solutions are Eastern Bloc, based out of Eastern Bloc countries.
Well, that's what you get for hiring hackers to be your security people. Well, I don't know what the exact numbers are, because I know that there are some. Somebody said something about, well, you shouldn't use other countries' antiviruses, but I don't think that really stops it. How does that fix anything? Because one, who's to say Norton's not working with the NSA, or who's to say the NSA doesn't have somebody working at one of those other companies, or the CIA? You know what I mean? They can easily get somebody. Trust me, any of these agencies, if they want to get somebody into a company, they can get somebody into a company. So
they're already in there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of they've already done it, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what was it, a year and a half ago? No. Yeah. It's almost 2 years ago now. Do you guys remember the Juniper VPN solution issue?
No.
Did you guys hear about that one?
I vaguely recall it.
Okay, so basically in a nutshell, the wonderful NSA gave Juniper a algorithm to create secure VPN tunnels in their Juniper VPN concentrators. However, complete with this NSA algorithm, there was a complete backdoor that allowed the NSA to remotely connect to any of the Juniper VPN concentrators and monitor all traffic and clear as the backdoor. So now this came to light like November-ish, but this time last year, November, December timeframe. So the NSA went, oh, right, yeah, that was our bad. Hey, you know what? We have a brand new algorithm you guys can use. That one we guarantee doesn't have anything in it. Yes, and the general the accounting office sent out a blurb to all government agencies that they had to immediately report on the algorithm version and the VPN concentrator product that they were using to verify if it was susceptible to this the NSA algorithm that they were using, and if so, what types of traffic had been going through there to see if there was any national breaches of security.
Well, that's the funny part about all of this, is that what RSA was even, the NSA and RSA were working together on something a long time ago. I forget what that was all about. I know I had something here. Wow. So the question is, it's obviously happening like you said. There's nothing that we can do to stop that. But can you trust anything then?
Right.
Where was it? I was looking for something.
Yeah, our university as well has come out and officially banned Kaspersky from being on our network anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's a student purchased a laptop with it pre-installed. If it's on there, the system is now blocked.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it is kind of like a, well, in the C cleaner, right? So the C cleaner, someone hacked into that, and they didn't even know about it, and someone downloads it, and hackers now have access to your code. So it's like you can't trust even the products that you're buying that are supposedly to protect you, because that's where the hackers are trying to get into as well.
Right. I think it's far easier for them just to wrap it inside of a download than it is to try to compromise the actual applications themselves.
Right.
Right, because that's what they did with CC Cleaner, right? They wrapped it inside the update.
Yep.
And that CC Cleaner, when it was launched on client machines, it would automatically go out and check to see if there was an update, and lo and behold, it was. So it would run under administrative authority, right, to install. So when that got triggered, then whatever was wrapped with it also ran under that same context.
Right.
And got dumped in. And
I was looking for a different one that I was going to show you. Forgot what it was. I mean, it's been going on for so long. I mean, because I put this under like espionage, because like nation states are like trying to spy on you, right? It's not only that you have hackers, but it's also nation states are now involved in this whole process, and
Sure.
And it goes all the way back. I mean, this was from 2013 about how China had kettles that had wireless routers put inside of them, or wireless receivers, so that they can capture wireless traffic, get onto networks, and then send information back to China. So it's not new, but then you got to look at all the stuff the NSA has been doing, right? And there's been a lot of leaks on that. But if the NSA is doing it, that every other nation is trying to do it. I mean, even with the Kaspersky thing, we hear that Israel is hacking into to Kaspersky's network. You know what I mean? So nation states are hacking into companies and corporations as well, which I find kind of odd that just kind of like goes over everybody's. Kind of just went through in one ear and out the other, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, well, Israel found that they did it. Yeah, but why was Israel in there in the first place? Right? I mean, I don't know what to say about that. But you remember that one where the UK was using Yahoo Messenger to turn on the camera and then watch users and stuff like that?
Yes.
So, and again, they're an ally of ours, but they end up, obviously some U.S. citizens were part of that as well. So it's a lot of interesting stuff in that space of, I don't want to say it's more like espionage, right? Because it's nation-state sponsored hacking, but not for the purpose of destroying networks, but it's like intelligence gathering, like we would think of as any other spy or intelligence gathering process would be. It's just they're using computers for it.
Right. I mean, they're just upping it to what the mainstream society is using right now, right? So in the past, it was, they would tap telephone communications, right? So they would tap the buried line somewhere, going to a central office to listen in on conversation. And it's really not all that difficult. My dad worked for the telephone company for like 45 years, and he used to do this. You could just go into the central office. Well, obviously you have to be able to compromise the central office, but if you have physical access to the central office, all you had to do was tap the paired lines, and you could listen in on any conversation you wanted. If you couldn't get to the central office, I mean, how many phone boxes are sitting at the end of roads in neighborhoods? You could just go into open up one of those where like a 48 pair or a 96 pair line comes in that feeds the actual telephone wires for a neighborhood, and you could start connecting in and listening to any of those.
Right.
There's calls, right? And that goes back to, our traditional wired telephones eons ago. And of course now, today, most people have pretty much ditched the standard telephone to the house and replaced it with cellular service of some kind. So, I mean, it only makes sense that the same type of, I guess you would say, data collection processes would happen on that type of a network as opposed to being on the wired network anymore.
Yeah. You have any thoughts on that, John?
I mean, I'm just equating it into the stuff that we're working on right now, which is just looking at even how all of our data flows internally, all the internal services just go over HTTP. So it's the equivalent of what Rob's saying of tapping into somebody's phone line. I mean, it's no different to just jump on an unencrypted packet and just listen.
Yeah. Well,
So,